Hi, this is Sonia with RC Solutions, and welcome to the last week of Seek, Gather, Create, week 4. And the hosts of these are Laura Dennison, Tina Hoy's Art, Lisa Gold Art, and they have 4 guest hosts, Jack Ravi, Dee Dee, is it Catrone, EB Mixed Media, and at Anonymous Palette. And I'll have these linked in the description to all these, and they are on Instagram. So for this week, the prompts are to use the color pink, wax, a letter or number, and a film or film strip. So I want to create my own film strip, and I'm going to be using some transparent paper. I'm going to add some pink alcohol ink to it, but and that's going to be for like the clear part of the film strip. But for the film strip itself, I'm going to make it kind of grungy, and I'm going to use these photos. I got these from Brandi Bel Art. It's from her Ko-Fi shop. It's a freebie on her Ko-Fi, and I'll have a link in the description of how you can access these. So what I'm going to do first, and for wax, I'm going to be using. There's a technique that I learned from Sandra of Willow 57, and I'll show you her, and I'll have a link in the description to show how she did hers. I'll have her actual video where I learned the technique from, and I'm going to be I'll show you the step as I get to it, but I'm going to use something a little bit alternatively different than what she used, as far as a piece of the type of paper that she used for the wax. But to start out, I'm going to measure. Let me move this out of the way first. Okay, each one of these photos measure approximately, hold on, let me do this in inches. They measure, it's like, see, about 1 3/4 inches by I'm going to say 1 3/4 inches on that too. So 1 3/4 inches each. So I'm going to be using 3 different photos. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to just say, let's see, 5 in. If I did 5 inches, would that be enough? I'm going to just say 6 inches, because if these were slid to right here, yeah, I'm doing 6 by 2.5 inch. All right, so I have some scrap paper. I'm going to make this 6 by 2.5. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it just to kind of get an idea to make sure that it will fit each one of these. And there's about 1/4 inch in between each one. I think I might make this just a little bit longer because, well, no, I think it'll be okay. All right, and then I'm gonna cut another one this size, but I'm gonna grunge it up. Let's see, what was this? That's the same length, and then 2.5. I'm gonna collage the front portion of it before I actually cut it. So I'm just gonna take some glue, like a little glue stick. Let me move some of this stuff out the way. And I'm just gonna add on bits of scrap paper. And I might take some Mod Podge to it. And the reason why I have glue on my hands is because, not glue, God. The reason why I have these gloves on my hands is because I'm going to be adding some alcohol ink to the transparency film. I'm going to add some on this side. And I'm doing this to give this kind of a vintage look. And like I said, I might go over this with some Mod Podge just to make sure that I can that it keeps that look, or that it stays on here and it's not tearing up, coming apart. Yeah, I'm going to add some Mod Podge to this. Okay, so now I'm just going to take just a dab of this pink acrylic paint. This is Craftsmart. Had it for a while. And I'm just going to spray a little bit of water on it to dilute it. And I'm just going to splatter it on. Sorry for the loud sounds of the sirens. I live in town and we get that a lot here. Okay, so I'm going to dry that. I've decided I'm going to also go ahead and put some of this black spatter on here as well. Okay, so I'm going to stamp on these, but before I do that, I want to first let me just go ahead and even this out by cutting the excess paper off the sides. And then I'm just going to come back through and I want to, I'm going to cut out 3 of the images. Any, mini, money, mo. I'm just going to cut. I think I'll go with like the families. Okay, and then I'm just distressing these. I'm using some vintage photo. I'm going around the edges. And then I just kind of take like, I just kind of dab it, the photo a little bit, just to kind of give it that sepia kind of look, that vintage look. Okay. And then I'm going to go back around the edges of it with some of this archival ink by Ranger, this permanent ink. And you also need permanent ink whenever we're getting ready to stamp this too. But I'll show you in just a little bit. But what I'm going to be doing right now is, after I distress these, is I'm going to be measuring out where I want these photos to go. So I'm kind of just going to eyeball it. And I'm going to take some paste, just a little dab of paste, just to hold these in place. And I'm going to be tracing around the edges of it. So let me do that now. It's that way I can kind of have an idea of where to cut at, and you know, like the distance of where I need to place these. I don't know why I had these gloves on. I had them on because I was getting ready to put some alcohol ink on the thing that's going to go over this, but I'm not going to do that in this step right yet. I want to do this step first. Okay, so I'm just going to put just a dab just to kind of hold this in place. Because I'm going to be cutting it out. But I want to make sure that it's even going all the way around as best I can. Okay, so I'm just going to take a black marker or a pen or something, and I'm just going to trace. I'm just going to use a ballpoint pen, as a matter of fact. I'm just going to trace around the edge of each one of these. Okay, now I'm getting ready to cut these out. And I may even keep these squares for another project. I don't know, we'll see. I just cut this. So I'm gonna cut this out and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got it cut out, you know, and then I'm just going to randomly stamp, and I got this stamp from Temu. It's like a knockoff, unfortunately. Let's see. Alright, and then I'm going to distress the inside and outside of this right here. I'm going to go with Vintage Photo as well as the Jet Black Ranger. And see how that's coming up a little bit? I'm just going to enhance that. I'm going to just take a sand and block. Okay, so now I'm going to take the crocodile, and you could just use a hole punch or, you know, something. I'm just going to use the small hole. Let me make sure I get it to the same area. 1, 2, oops. Alright, so we have a film strip. And now I want to add some wax to it. And the way that Sandra did hers, she actually had some cash register tape, like the vintage cash register tape. I don't have any, so I'm just going to use like regular notebook paper. And just some white notebook paper, like thin. Now, if you have register tape, that would probably be better because I think it's a little bit thinner than your notebook paper. But what I'm going to do, I'm not going to put it on all of this. I'm just going to put it on some of it. And what she did was she pasted it to the area that she was going to add wax to. And I'm not going to add wax to all of it, like I said. So it's kind of like I'm making another collage again. But, and what this does is it reinforces the colors that are up underneath. It kind of makes it more pronounced. So that's what my goal is here. I'm not going to cover all of it. I'm just going to put it in random spots and add some wax to it. And I'll show you that process in just a moment. And you can also stamp on this as well. You can stamp up underneath, and you can stamp on top of this and then do your waxing or whatever you're going to do. You know. But if you're going to stamp, you have to stamp first before you wax, because you can't stamp on wax, or the ink doesn't stick to the wax very well. So I'm just going to randomly stamp again. And I'm just going to use this. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut the remainder of the paper. the excess. And even though part of it, well, I might still cut the hole. I might still go over the parts that covered up the holes. I was going to say I'm just going to leave it, but no, I think I'll go ahead and cut it off as well. So let me cut this and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I got the holes punched and I went back over it with some what do you call it, distress inks and whatnot. Okay, so I'm just taking it's just your regular candle, little household candle, and what you're going to be doing is you're going to be melting just a little bit over top of it, and then you're going to come back through. Now Sandra from Willow 57, she used a paper towel, but I don't have any paper towels, but I do have this just regular towel. It'll still do the same. This is going to be loud, but I'm just going to kind of walk you through the process. So you're just going to kind of start melting your candle kind of close to where you want it to drip at, and make sure you have it over top of a piece of paper or something to catch it. Okay, now do you see where it's starting to melt? Okay, so I just turned this off because it's, you see that? Let me zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, as you go along, you can start wiping it off. But basically all this does is just brings out what was underneath. It makes it a little bit more pronounced. So I'm going to add some wax on some of the parts that have the white stuff, and then on some of the parts that doesn't. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but I am going to go over all the parts that have the white paper that I just added to it. It's going to be loud, so sorry. Okay, so now we have some wax on here. And it's optional, but I'm just going to add, I can't help myself. Since I'm already doing all this mixed media, I'm just going to add just a little bit of crackle paste, and I'll be right back. Okay, so while the texture paste and crackle paste is drying, I'm going to work on the next step, which is working with this transparency paper. Now there's two sides to this. This is printable. There's a side where if you breathe on it, if you can see your breath, then that's the side that you don't print on. But if you don't see your breath, then you do print on it. Okay. I don't see no breath on that one. I did see it on that one. Okay, so this is the side that you print on. So this is the side that I'm going to add some of this pink sherbet. So we're going to have our color pink, our wax. We got to have a letter or number, which I do have a letter or number, which is stamped on the film strip. And then we've got the film strip itself. All right, so I'm just going to take some of this. And I have like a little dauber. I'm just going to put like a line going up, and I'm just going to spread it. And I don't know if you noticed it or not, but the ink that's up underneath here is like a different color, like brown. And it started coming through. So I'm going to add a little bit more. That way it's going to have that shade. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of leave some streaks on here of that pinkish color. You can see that or not. Let me get a piece of white paper behind it. That way you can see it a little bit better. And you can also see some of that brown in there, which is fine, because I was going to add some of this sepia in there anyway, but I don't think I'm going to, because this is going to be covering up the images and I don't want it too dark. Although I could kind of give it that tintype kind of look to it. So what I may do is just add a little bit of, let me just kind of place these right here and get a ballpark idea of where they're going to go. Well, hold on. Put them over here near the end. And then I guess I could still add a little bit of brown. But we also want some of the pink to show as well. I hope I put it on the right side. I think I did, but we're just going to see. Yeah. It's dry. Okay, I did. I put it on the right side. So, I'm going to let that completely dry, and then we're going to let this completely dry. And then we're going to be adding this on there, you know. Okay, so as usual, I got impatient and I went on ahead and dried this, but you can still see a little bit of crackle. I mean, just a little bit. You can still see texture, so I'm satisfied. Even if it isn't the crackle texture, you can still see something. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take our little dauber, add some of this pink sherbet on there, and we're just going to kind of add some on, like in the areas where I added the mixed media. And I think it kind of brings out, like the areas where I had the wax, to me it kind of brings out what was behind it a little bit better than what it was before I added the ink on there. So yeah, you can kind of see the pink a little bit, but it just depends on the lighting. So now this outer part is pretty much done. And so now we're going to work on the rest of it. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to glue this on top of here. And let's see, I've got this white paper up underneath so I can kind of see like where I want to glue it at relative to how I added the ink on here. So, and I'm just going to take this right here. This is art glitter glue. I'm just going to go around the edges of all, around the whole shape. And then I'm just going to glue it on here. And eventually I might stitch it, I'm not real sure. But I just want to go ahead and make sure that the clear plastic film is attached to this. Then I'm just going to cut it out. Alright, and then we're going to need, my original idea was to simply connect this directly back here, and these photos, let's see, I was going to originally just glue the photos to the black cardstock. But I think what I want to do is create a slider so that these can come in and out. And I'll still make it out of black cardstock, but it's going to be slimmer. It's going to be a little bit slimmer than the actual photo. So if the actual photo is 1 3/4, I'm going to make like a 1 1/4 inch slider, just to make sure that it's going to fit. So 1 1/4 inch. Well, I might just do 1 1/2 inches. And then that should still be able to slide up and down in there. Okay, so what I'll do, because I have to allow 2 inches from the bottom, is kind of do the same thing I did earlier when I was doing my placements. Set the picture, like line it up. Well, I could actually just go ahead and glue it on there then, actually. And just make sure that it's on there good. Okay, and then now I can glue this and this together. Make sure this will still go down there pretty easily. And yes, it will. It'll go in now. Alright, so I'm going to glue this, and then I'm going to stitch it. And stitching is an option. You absolutely do not have to, because this will stick as it is. So I'm going to cut the rest of this out and stitch it, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I think I need like a tab or something up here. So I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, just going to fold it down to where this is going to protrude just a little bit up above this black area. I'm just going to cut it to where it's even. I'm going to stress around the edges. Yeah, I guess I could round off the corners. I'm just going to distress it, and I'm going to glue it on. And this is going to be the tab for our photo slider. And this is going to go right here. And it's not double-sided. I kind of don't like that, but it's fine because it's just, we're going to see this front part. You're not going to see the back. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. And then I'm just going to add this eyelet. And then I have some fabric that I had gotten from Dollar Tree a year or two ago. And I like this pink, this shade of pink that's on here. So I'm just going to get just a small little snippet of it. I'm just going to add that in here. I'm not good at tying these knots. So let me see if I can get this through here best I can. Got a little hole here. Make sure it's even. I'm going to send this through the little hole. If there was ever a very weak thing for crafting for me, that would be tying knots and fooling with jewelry. Okay, now I like that, but I think I want like a little dangle or something to hang down there. So, and I am going to go ahead and slide this down in here first. See what it looks like. I like that. What do you think? Yeah, I'm going to add like a little dangle on here, and that's going to complete it. Okay, so we need some type of a dangle. This is going to be big. I'll put it at the upper part of this right here. So let me remove it. This is a keychain or key tag from Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna let me just take it off of the key ring first. I can get it off. All right, and then I have a napkin that I'm going to decoupage on here, and but first I'm going to stamp it. And I'm going to use some black archival ink. That way it doesn't smear or anything. I'm trying to make sure that it's going to fit. That's why I'm doing it like this first before actually decoupaging it. I don't know about that. Okay, I like that image better. And then we need a number. And we need a number that's going to fit inside here. Okay, number 18. And like I said, I'm just going to decoupage that on there. I'm just going to decoupage just the one side. I'm not going to do the other side. And I'm just going to let that dry, and then I'm going to distress it. Okay, so this is dry now, and I'm just going to take the hole punch, and I can see, punch a hole where that was at, where that hole was originally at. Oh, I didn't mean to mess that up. Yeah, didn't mean to do that. Guess I'm gonna have to add this to something. Yeah. Alright, and then I'm just going to cut around the edge. And then after I cut this out, I'm just going to go over it with the leftover alcohol ink that's still on that pad. It stays on there. It stays wet for quite a bit of time sometimes. Let's just test that theory out. Let me get this. Let me see. Well, maybe not. Usually it stays pretty wet. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of that same pink sherbet and maybe just a little bit of some sepia. Alright, I'm just going to take this jump ring. Like I said, this is not my strong suit. Jewelry is not my strong suit. I'm just going to find where the little opening is. Separate it. Feed it in there. It'll go in there. And then we're going to tighten it back up. Actually, let me put it back on the key ring because that's what I was supposed to do. Yeah, that's why it wasn't working so well. Key rings and jewelry, like I said, are not my strong suit. Like, okay, let's just get this in here. Okay, we got that. Now we can add this one here as a dangle. I'm just going to close that back up. It's just so hard for me to grip, and then sometimes it doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, it looks like it's on there. And we're just going to grab one of these little bulb rings or bulb pins, whatever. I'm going to run it through here. And then we're going to run it through the upper part of this knot, like where this knot goes. Alright, and so now we have our number 18, and then we have our film strip and wax and pink. Yeah, pink, wax, letter or number. I went through all that and I could have used a letter. I didn't pay attention. But anyway, I think that works out pretty good. And then film strip or film strip. So yeah, there we go. And thank you, Brandi, for the freebie that I used. Oh, look at this. This is coming loose. Hold on, let me glue that on there. Can't have that now. Yeah. What I should have did was I should have stitched going across there first and then stitched going around the rest of it, but it's fine. As long as it stays together and doesn't come apart, that's the main thing. But yeah, so this feeds in here like that. And you can see your little images. I like that. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos, blog, and social media sites. And so this completes the Seek, Gather, Create for February. And so probably on my next videos, I'll be doing the Scrappy 8, which starts March the 1st. And hashtag How Do You Do Art, which is also March the 1st. And both of those are all month long. And then I'm going to also be working on my Asylum journal. So yeah. So once again, thanks for watching, and